For about 5 years now, I've been working on lionfish. And one of the things that we decided to do was to look at the public health concerns for both capture and the consumption of lionfish, since we were endorsing and supporting and encouraging persons to go after lionfish and get them out of the water. So we looked at the public health concerns of removal and handling, of course, being stung, and as well as from a consumption point of view, the chemical elements of the lionfish tissues, as well as you must have heard about ciguatera risks of lionfish throughout the Caribbean as well. So the at-risk groups for being stung, of course, are the persons who are handling the live fish or recently dead lionfish. Okay, so of course these are the fishers. Whether is Kimberly, what did you do to this? Okay, maybe. So the at-risk groups are fishers, vendors, and of course the persons cleaning the fish. These are the scuba divers as well, removing lionfish. People it's a lot of fun for scuba divers to do, and they're doing something good as well. So it's easy to get volunteers. Snorkelers have gotten stung by just being in the water nearby in sometimes murky water and accidentally getting stung as well. So if you remember from probably a talk on Monday, I think, we showed you where the venomous spines were. So these are on the dorsal side, right on the top, along here. These are the main ones. But you also have a few underneath as well, on the pelvic and anal spines. And a lot of the times we found where the persons, they see the ones on the top, they stay away from that, but they hold on to the belly side of the fish and get stung like that. So here's what happens. This is the dorsal spine. And the dorsal spines, as well as the other spines, have this skin covering the spine itself. And there are grooves along the spine, and inside those grooves is this venomous glandular tissue. Now what happens is that when it pierces your skin, the skin of the spine pulls back, exposes this venomous tissue. It rubs against your skin because it's puncturing your wound, and that's how the venom is then introduced. It flows along this groove right into your wound, right into your bloodstream. It happens like that, instantly. Okay. Now, the effects of the venom, you have, of course, extreme pain. It is pretty much immediate, lasts up to 12 hours. We've seen many case studies in Jamaica. The one that comes to mind very, very readily, I got a call from a fisherman about 2 years ago. And he was out fishing, pulling fish pots out in the sun. And they saw a lionfish in the pot. They knocked him out. And then, of course, they threw it back overboard because those guys, they weren't really messing around with the lionfish too much. A couple of hours after, he stepped on a spine that had broken off in the boat. About 2 hours after, being in exposed sun. And he passed out immediately from the pain and from the reaction. When he came to, he was in extreme pain. Went to the hospital. Several hours after, he was still in extreme pain. Large swelling. And he was out of work for a period of time as well. So, of course, there's an economic cost to being stung from that. Not just the cost for the medical treatment, but also the cost of loss of income, all right, because you can't work for a while. You get extreme pain, you get puncture wounds. Of course, there's a source of infection as well. The bruising, the purple-black discoloration, I mean, those are 90% of the cases. That's what you will get. Some persons will have nausea, vomiting, abdominal cramps. Some persons will go as far as getting seizures, fainting, cardiac arrest. But these ones are very, very rare. And it's usually when you have a predisposed condition, you might have an allergic reaction to it as well. But 90% is just pain and swelling. So that's the same person. Okay. That's the hand on the left is, of course, not gotten stung. And this is 10 minutes after being stung. Okay? So extreme pain, extreme swelling that occurs right on the wound. She was stung right here, right on the index finger. All right? And this lasts a couple of days. It was swollen for a couple of days. This is a wound that has, has gone infected as well and had to be debrided, and you can see that's a problem as well. A slight problem, right? Okay, so we work with a diving physician, and she's trained in hazardous marine life injuries, and she helped to put together a protocol for us to help, with our training programs. So, first aid. Clearly removing any visible spines, immerse in hot water as hot as you can take it. You don't want to burn yourself now. I mean, I got a call from a dive operator who's put his hand on the engine because it was hot, right? And then end up burning off the entire skin on his hand, So you don't want to do anything like that. As hot as you can take it, because it denatures the venom. It's a protein, so it breaks the venom down. But don't burn yourself while you're doing it. Clean the wound, irrigate with fresh water, painkillers, antihistamines, that's good as well. But always refer to a physician for medical attention. Very important. It's hard to tell a fisherman this, though, I must tell you. Them tough and, anyway, and too proud, okay? So sometimes the venom is not the only problem. You can see from this one especially, you can see a spine being lodged in the index finger. Okay. Now this was a scientist, and I'm taking specimens out of the freezer. So there was no venom at that point. It's been there for a couple of days, been in the freezer, and the bag slipped, and it punctured his glove, and the spine was in there. But he didn't know that until like about a day after. He felt a sensation, and he had to get 3 surgeries to take this out. The spine is very translucent, transparent kind of thing, so it's very hard for surgeons to see it, and it had to be cut 3 times to get that out. So this was the spine I was taken out, and it's about this big. All right? That's my finger, by the way. So one of the things that helps is that we do training programs, and we've noticed where the training programs have helped persons how to handle the lionfish and reduce the incidence of being stung, and also, if they do get stung, how to treat it effectively. So we do training programs. The Reef Organization does training programs as well, mainly in the U.S. We've done it all across Jamaica. We've done it in Dominican Republic, St. Lucia, and we're coming to Trinidad in June to get this training done as well. All right, so apart from being stung by it, we, of course, we're the removers and handlers of that. We wanted to look at the chemical composition, the elements, what kind of elements you have inside the tissues of the lionfish. So we collected 25 samples across Jamaica, and we analyzed the 25 essential, non-essential, and toxic elements. And we focus on fishing areas. Now, these are the values for the dietary intake, reasonable values. The toxic elements, we separated male and female because, male and female on average have different mass and accumulate elements in a little different way. But we looked at 4 toxic elements: arsenic, cadmium, mercury, and lead. Don't let these numbers frighten you. It's good, it's safe, okay? Good percentages. We all have a little bit of that in our bodies in anything we eat. Health benefits. So guess what? The lionfish is healthy to eat. Okay, we looked at selenium, which of course is very, very good for our health systems, and we concluded that overall the lionfish appears to contribute modestly to mineral and trace element nutrition while not being a significant contributor to diet exposure of toxic elements. And this paper was published last year. Okay, the last one is ciguatera fish poison, CFP. Now, this is a naturally occurring dinoflagellate in Caribbean waters and Pacific waters, mainly. So here's the little critter. It's microscopic, of course, Gambrodiscus, and it produces a toxin. It's a benthic dinoflagellate. So it sticks onto the benthic areas of the reef itself, right on the substrate. So, of course, fish will consume this, and it will be passed along the food chain. People become exposed to the toxin when they consume the fish. Of course, it passes up the food chain and accumulates in those larger fish. Weight over 2 kilograms or 4.5 pounds. That's usually when we start seeing accumulation of toxins. Remember, lionfish is not regularly a 4.5 pound fish that we will find. We'll find 2 pounds, 2.5 pounds fish, mostly in our Caribbean region, but some of them have gone to this size. You normally find ciguatera in barracudas, large groupers, snappers, amberjacks, large predatory fish like that. The toxin has highest concentration in fish visceral and sex organs. So don't eat fish sex organs. So the symptoms of ciguatera fish poisoning usually start 6 to 8 hours after consumption. Nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, muscle pain, numbness, tingling, etc. The classic finding of hot and cold sensation reversal. You think something should feel hot, it feels cold. That's one of these weird things about it. Teeth may feel loose, and of course that is your naturally occurring teeth, not the ones you picked up at the store. No, you see, it sounds funny, but I remember telling a fisherman this, and he's like, yeah, it does feel a little bit loose. No, you don't have ciguatera. Several cases of ciguatera fish poisoning may result in shortness of breath, salivation, tearing, chills, rashes, etc. Brachycardia may occur, coma and hypertension can occur as well. Death due to CFP is very rare, less than 0.5%. Now, based on our prey preferences work that we've done, just from 2,300 of the samples that we've dissected, when I say we, I mean my graduate student, okay? Looked at the stomachs, look at what's in there, and you can tell, even though it's consuming a fish 2/3 the size of its length, it's still a small fish. Yes, it has many small juvenile fish inside of it, so the risk of passing this on up the food chain is not as much as a barracuda and accumulating with large fish. Okay? Yeah, we found 27 species of fish inside the stomachs, but, it's not a significant number. So we did our testing, and this testing was done with our colleagues at NOAA and UNCW, University of North Carolina at Wilmington. And only one sample showed any detectable levels of CTX, which is too low to likely cause an effect. So therefore, there's no recommendation to change our policy of consumption as a control strategy. So if you're going to weigh the cost and the benefit of this, and should this be a control strategy, it's working, guys. The consumption is working. You should eat iguanas as well. Not yours, hers. The green one, the one we want to get rid of. All right, but consumption has shown to work. It has shown to work in the Bahamas. Jamaica overall has been showing a decline. In some areas of the Bahamas, for example, small keys, you have been seeing declines that are mainly due to consumption and being hit very hard. But overall, Jamaica is showing a decline. Bahamas has a tough problem. There are so many islands, and not many people are there. So it's a tough challenge. But as you can see, hitting them very hard, removing them very hard can make an impact. And the biggest incentive, hey, you can eat it, okay? So the consumption is an added incentive. The incidence of stings have been reduced to training and public education. There is no reported ciguatera fish poisoning anywhere in the Caribbean linked to lionfish. Zero. There are tons of lionfish consumed every day in the Caribbean. No reported cases. So it is still our responsibility to test our fish periodically for these things, because we're on the trail encouraging persons to consume it. So we have to do our due diligence and make sure we have something tested as well.